Hey there guys, welcome back to AFC Game by Game. This is just a quick reaction in response to Granit Xhaka's recently released statement regarding what happens in the game against Crystal Palace last weekend during his substitution, which of course you don't need me to review once again. We know how controversial that was, and at least we've got a bit of clarity now. I think first and foremost it's interesting that this statement has come from Arsenal, not from Granit Xhaka. It tells me that Arsenal have really forced his hand. They've said to him, look, you need to say something. It hasn't come from Granit Xhaka personally. I can guarantee this has been tightly worded by his PR agent. It's definitely not entirely his words. I think we can all say that with some clarity. I think he's probably there, stood alongside the guy that's writing it, and he's just slowly nodding his head in agreement with what's being said. And I think we can definitely all agree that this isn't an apology. Reading through it definitely doesn't read like that. But I don't think, from a personal point of view, that's what I was expecting from this situation. I think the fans played their part in the situation that occurred. But of course, the underlying thing is fans are paying to go to the stadium. They're paying a lot of money to support this club, whether that be through merchandise, tickets, buying drinks and food at the stadium. I mean, there's a lot of financials that go into this from supporters, and it's a hefty outgoing for any fan that goes to the game. I mean, you're looking at travel, you're looking at a ticket, you're looking at food on the day. It's easily £100 day. Quite. That's a lot of money for a lot of people. It certainly is for me. But I mean, when you look at it from that perspective, of course, fans are going to get frustrated. If they want to boo a player, then they've paid their money to go and do that, and they're within their rights to do that. It's not something I personally agree with. It's not something I do, and I can see why Granit Xhaka, looking away from the financial perspective, from the fan perspective, as a human being, to have that happen, to have the people that are meant to support you quite vocally berate you, is going to be frustrating, and I can completely understand why he has sort of reached boiling point. I've got to say, I don't agree with everything in this statement that he's supposedly written. As I say, I think it's very unlikely that it's come from his mouth. Just to read through it, after taking some time to reflect on what happened on Sunday afternoon, I would just like to give you an explanation rather than just a quick response. So first of all, this statement has come significantly later than Sunday afternoon. It came out yesterday, which was of course Thursday, and that was in the aftermath of that 5-5 draw against Liverpool, which, granted, we lost the game on penalties, but I think there were a lot of positive vibes coming out of that match. We played good football, we played expansive football, we scored 5 goals at Anfield. We lost the game, but I think supporters were feeling a bit better about things than they did in the aftermath of the defeat against Palace, and I think Arsenal have timed that with that in mind. The things that took place around my substitution have moved me deeply. I love this club and will always give 100% on and off the pitch. That's not something I disagree with. I think Granit Xhaka, as much as you can criticise his footballing ability and his talent and what he does bring on the pitch, for me he's always a player that does work hard, always gives his all, and I've got no real problems with that part of the statement. Next part, my feeling of not being understood by fans and repeated abusive comments at matches and in social media over the last weeks and months have hurt me deeply. Now, Granit Xhaka is a player that, whether you understand him or not, I think is kind of irrelevant. He does make a lot of mistakes. I'm not going to beat around the bush with that. He gives away a lot of penalties. He picks up a lot of yellow cards. He makes a lot of unnecessary fouls. That's a part of his game that I absolutely hate. A part of his game that I like is when he's playing alongside someone like Lucas Torreira. He's allowed to do his job properly, dictate play from the middle, play those passes through the lines, be the pragmatic footballer that I think he can be. But it's that element of his game where he gives away penalties, is reckless, is irrational. That's what a lot of people don't like, and it cost us last season. I think he gave away a penalty against Brighton in a game that we had to win. He does make mistakes at costly times, and I think that's why a lot of fans don't particularly enjoy seeing him in the starting 11, which I can certainly appreciate. People have said things like, "We will break your legs, kill your wife, and wish that your daughter gets cancer." That has stirred me up, and I reached boiling point when I felt a rejection in the stadium on Sunday. Now, I think those comments have all come on social media, which doesn't surprise me, but I hate to say it, Granit, this isn't something that's just solely aimed at you. Every single player in the world is going to get those sort of comments. Messi will get those comments, Ronaldo will get those comments. I remember when I was on Arsenal Fan TV as a 17-year-old and I got those sort of comments. It's not something that Granit Xhaka is immune to. If it's something that he doesn't like, then there's an easy way to stop comments on social media. And I think there's a point to be made. People that say these sort of things are absolute scumbags. They've got no lives whatsoever, and the fact that they get some sort of pleasure out of saying these kind of things, It bewilders me, it baffles me. I don't understand it at all. But it's not something that Granit Xhaka is immune to. As I say, it's part of social media. Unfortunately, as great as social media is, it does attract this kind of unwanted attention. And as I say, everyone gets these kind of comments if you're in the public light, which unfortunately, as a footballer, he is. What I don't agree with as people actually doing this kind of stuff in person. I don't know if he's got these kind of comments in person, but I know that I think when he's been out and about, he has had people say stuff to him, and that's just a complete invasion of privacy. I completely disagree with that. Anyone that's doing that, the people that were criticising Aubameyang at the weekend after the draw with Palace, someone was saying, "Oh, pay £2,000 to watch this. I can't believe it. Arsenal mug." Like, come on, that's a player that has bailed us out so many times, and I think it's a problem not just with football fans, but with the Arsenal fan base in particular. I mean, every fan base, no matter how glorious you think your fan base is, you're going to have a couple of scumbags that are going to say these kind of things. Doesn't matter if you're Chelsea, United, City, no matter if you think you've got the most beautiful fan base in the world, you have fans like this. Sorry to say, that's the reality of it. Arsenal seems to have a few more than others in particular. I hate to say that. I hate to say that about a club that I deem to be so classy, so full of elegance, and I want to believe that we're not capable of this kind of thing. But booing in the stadium, it's not the first time we've done it to players. We've booed Aaron Ramsey in the past, a player that left the club crying because he loved it so much. We've booed other players in the past. You know what all happened with Abue, and then criticising Aubameyang when he's just trying to get home from the match, when he did nothing wrong, particularly in that game. He's been our top goal scorer this season. You're mental if you're doing that. You're absolutely mental. So just reading on with the statement. In this situation, I let myself be carried away and reacted in a way that disrespected the group of fans that support our club. The group of fans, I think it's quite obvious there that he's saying he doesn't. This isn't a message that's going to be for the people that booed him. Essentially, he still agrees with what he did on the evening towards those people that booed him. Make of that what you will. That support our club, our team, and myself with positive energy. That has not been my intention. I'm sorry if that's what people thought. That's not really an apology in my eyes. My wish is that we get back to a place of mutual respect, remembering why we fell in love with this game in the first place. Let's move forward positively together. Granit. Can't disagree with that last statement at all. I think if we're going to see the best out of Arsenal Football Club, we've all got to get behind the team. But I think a big part of why people reacted in the way they did towards Granit Xhaka is largely down to a frustration at the club, Unai Emery, the football we're playing, and largely the fact that Granit Xhaka is putting in mistakes, not putting in wholehearted performances on the pitch in terms of ability, because he's not being played in the correct position. He's having to do a job that's not necessarily accustomed to him. So I can understand the booing. As much as I hate it, I can understand people's frustrations. It's something that happens in all sports, really, and it's something that's going to happen at Arsenal. You're going to have fans that do it, but it's not an apology. I'm not sure if that's what that was necessarily the right thing to do. I think he is going to remain captain. I'd be very surprised if he stripped himself, if he got stripped of it. Emery has been so indecisive regarding this situation, and it's incredibly poor from him. Really, really poor. Shows really poor leadership skills. So I'm disappointed that he's not had any clarity on the situation. He's kind of avoided the question whenever it's come to him, saying it's not the right time to talk about it. It's the perfect time to talk about it because it's just happened, and we need to know what's going on. Is he still the captain? Is he not? If it was me, I wouldn't play him against Wolves. I think his head's not in the right place, and I want to see Torreira and Guendouzi anyway. So great opportunity for us to see that. And I would give the armband to someone like Hector Bellerin, who I think is a model leader. I think he knows this club inside out. Very excellent human being as well, and I think he'd be the perfect candidate. If not him, someone like Aubameyang, someone like Lacazette as well, who really gets the club. I'm really disappointed with how Xhaka acted, to be honest, but I can definitely sympathise with him, understand him, and this is obviously going to be a topic that's going to divide opinion massively. But I'm going to leave my thoughts on it on there, guys. As I say, I'm not about this weekend for the game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, so there'll be no coverage from me. But please do enjoy the game. I hope it's a positive result for Arsenal. I really do, and I hope it's a positive performance, and one that builds on that result we had at Anfield the other night. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Please do drop a like on the video if you've enjoyed it, and as always, I will speak to you very, very soon. See you later, guys.